I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this. Let's flip the camera around. And you can see I've gone to the parts store and I've got the materials I need to make some jumpers. So here's the motor I'll be messing with. It ran perfectly there to the other side of the river and back, but I was running at full speed, and this lady generally doesn't, like, they'll run it real slow. Okay, now here's the way motors go. If you baby them and you putz around like granny, the motor overall will last longer because it doesn't burn up as fast. But with fuel injection system, you tend to get clogged more often and need cleaned injectors or new injectors and eventually seals. And so if you don't gun it once in a while, these motors are governed to where they don't run too hot when you go full speed. Okay, so if you don't gun it once in a while, you never get that full pressure on the injectors that kind of blasts out any little deposits and helps keep it cleared from getting clogged. So here's your high pressure fuel pump and the fuel line leading out of it and into the injectors. And your injectors are actually, that is the tubing. There's the injector, and here's the electric power for the injector, or the actuator that opens and closes the valve in time with the piston. So because we got to do this out here, I'm going to be running it off my house power. I'm going to disconnect this plug. This is the power from the engine, which won't be running. So we disconnect the plug, and if you look in there on the actuator, you can see the two little prongs pretty close together. So you need some small wire connector ends, like the slip-on kind, the female, and they need to have some insulator around them, be small enough to fit on those little titty prongs. And then let's see if I can get my fingers in there where you can see these two bolts got to come out in order for the injectors to be wiggled out of there. Okay, so it's kind of getting a little cloudy. We're getting, I don't know if you can see, some pretty dark clouds, and I mean, we got clear skies here, but then over us we got these dark clouds looming, and I really don't want to open up the cylinders to rainwater. So I'm going to go ahead and I've checked this plug to see that my wire connectors are going to fit that plug, those prongs. I'll go ahead and tuck this away in case it does rain. And I'll go sit on my boat and make these wire ends. Before I get started on that, let me just go ahead and show you what I got. Now, most professionals would have something in their shop it's already wired up to a power supply, or might even just have an independent 12-volt power supply, or what have you. But at least if they make some jumper cables, they might have two different colors of wire, like a red and a black. But in the interest of being cheap, these are, I think, almost $11 for a spool of 30-foot 16 gauge wire. You don't need a heavy gauge. It's not a big motor. There's not a lot of power. It's 12 volt, but it does need to handle some. So this will do, and that'll get me two sections at 15 feet long. And now here is our two alligator clamps, $4.99. And then this little package of these little tiny slip-ons was over $10 for 10 of them. They didn't have a package of two, but so not bad. We're talking 25, 26 and change, something like that, 27 and change. And I'm gonna go ahead and take these board. We started making the cable out of the sun because we got sun and rain here in Florida this time of year, especially. It's really muggy hot. I'm sweating right now, but hopefully can get these cables done. I know I'll get the cables done, but I'm not too sure I'll get started on actually purging the injectors just yet. Might be a tomorrow morning kind of thing, when it tends to rain more in the afternoon, and it's almost afternoon. So anyway, let me get to it, and I'll be back here as soon as I'll be back here live showing how to clean the injectors on a 15 horse 4-stroke Mercury 2000 and something or other. I don't know what year it is. It doesn't matter. It's all the same to me. Internal combustion engine. I don't care if it's 2-stroke, 4-stroke, diesel. I don't care if it's 144,000 horsepower or if it's a micro motor for a small model airplane or a weed eater. I don't care. I don't care. If it's internal combustion, I'll figure out how to work. So that's where we're at on this one. This engine is, and I mean, you got some stickers peeling, but these are factory stickers, you know, having like the oil indicator, like where the basically tips on, you know, what spark plug, the gap size. And as I said, I've already switched. It's already got new spark plugs, or like, I don't know, a couple months old. So that's a step. We check the kill switches and the wiring to them, make sure there's no shorts there. I bypassed the one that had a crack in it to eliminate that from the possibility of being why it would sputter and run intermittently. We changed the spark plugs, put brand new spark plugs. This motor doesn't need new injectors. It's a fairly new motor. It's just that being run at low speed all the time, babied, and, you know, maybe a little occasional dirty fuel here and there get in it, and just over time it gets where they need to be cleaned, and that's where we're at. And I believe I can get away with reusing the same seals too. You know, when we take it off, we'll see that they're still supple. You know, they need to be springy, supple, not flattened out or hardened. And, you know, an old one would be heated from the engine a lot, and oftentimes get really, really hard, start feeling like hard plastic instead of a rubber O-ring. And if you got that kind of feel or any crackling on it, it's not nice and supple, then you got to go get some injector seals for it. And you can't just go get any old rubber O-rings, because you need some kind of rubber that's meant for high temperature to be up against the engine block and not melt. So that's a specialized type of rubber. It's got a special type of formula in the process of vulcanizing it that makes it able to handle the higher temperatures. So there's I guess pretty much all I can tell you at this point about fuel injectors on these, and that's a pretty good general description of fuel injectors on just about any vehicle. It's kind of how they go with anything. You might find some on some diesels that don't have rubber seals. They might have like flat metal gasket seals type compression seals, but for the most part they're all going to have rubber seals. And that's another thing, you know, like I said, in a new motor like this, I'm pretty sure that they're fine, but you want to check that before, because if you got any air leak around that seal, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have sputtering, stalling, you know, all kinds of your injectors might start dumping fuel and flooding it, and it is a possibility that could be causing the problem. It could be the injectors aren't clogged at all, and one of the seals might be leaking. And if it starts getting more air, then the sensors start detecting that and trying to send it more fuel than it needs. And it can end up flooding out because of that, because of a difference in the air-fuel mixture, the ratio. Okay, and so anyway, that's where we're at, and until next time, y'all have a great day. This is Captain Kedger signing off.